everybody, and welcome to another video. Now, it's fair to say that event season is well and truly upon us, and I, for one, as a photographer, hobby photographer, within the limitations of what I'm coping with my fibromyalgia and foraminal stenosis, intend to make the most of this throughout the summer. It's a bit like what we would say in the UK. It's a bit like buses. You know, you get nothing for months and then it all comes at once. And that is certainly true. What I'm going to share with you in this video is images from 2 events of 3 that took place in Leighton Buzzard High Street over the first weekend in June. Now, with my challenges, I have to think carefully about, can I go? If I go, how long do I think I can do? And I think the more important thing for me to have come to grips with is where my function was better before the stenosis really started kicking in and making it a lot more painful. I'm comfortable now with whatever time I spend, however long I spend, and whatever shots I get, I'm okay with. And that is a big lesson living with a chronic illness. Accepting you have it, accepting what you can't do, and accepting what you can do, and make the most of what you can do. So there was 3 events I've mentioned. So the LB Pride was on the Friday evening, 5 till 9 p.m. And Saturday was a community event around the same time. There's always a Saturday market in the high street, but there were stalls promoting the local community clubs for people to go and investigate and see if there's anything they wanted to get involved with. And on the Sunday, we have something every year called Leighton Buzzard Big Lunch. The street is full of street food vendors, and there's entertainment, stage, live music, that sort of thing. So I decided that, and actually on the Saturday morning it decided for me, having done LB Pride on the Friday evening for an hour and a half, I would skip Saturday, because I knew that myself and my wife, we always go down to the Big Lunch, treat ourselves to something different we wouldn't normally have from the various cultural foods that are available. And I knew that I would get some shots there. So I took a break in the middle deliberately, but also enforced because of feeling rough from the Friday evening. So I took it easier on the Saturday, knowing that Sunday I wanted to go down with my wife, enjoy that, and spend some time. So that's the fibro bit out of the way. Let's get on to the images. Now, what I'm going to share with you first is, given that I spent only an hour and a half at each event, doesn't mean you're not going to get the bangers. You've not got to be concerned with what you might miss, more happy with what you're able to capture. That's the first thing, especially when your health limits that you can't stay longer and see the whole thing out. So what I'm going to share with you here is that over the 2 events I did go to with my camera, I got what I would call 3 bangers. Technical term, it's used a lot on YouTube. I got 3 images where when I looked at the back of the camera when it gave up the quick review, that was it. I didn't care what else I captured. So here we go. The first shot is from LB Pride. You might guess that from the outfits these guys are wearing. I spotted them coming into the high street, and they were gathering around a theatre school of children called Razzmatazz, who were going to do a little thing in the market square before they did a little parade down to the main stage at the bottom of the street. So these entertainers on stilts in their bright costumes had gathered behind the children and were sort of joining in. They weren't part of it, but they were joining in before they were going to do their thing in the high street. So I lined myself up behind them, and just as I was doing that, one of them spotted me and says, "Turn around, guys, somebody wants a picture." And I was low down. I had my 18 to 55 lens on, shooting a lot at 18, which is the focal equivalent of 28mm on a full frame camera. So nice and wide, nice and low. Could barely see the screen because I haven't got a flip screen, but aim the camera up, and this is the shot I got, and I'm really happy with this. I think the whole pose, it sums up the event. Okay, so the next couple of images I'm going to show you are from the big lunch, and I'd noticed the two gentlemen in these images from a distance as we were browsing the various stalls, deciding what food we were going to have. So we'd got our food and we were sitting at the communal tables enjoying our lunch. I had Ceylon spicy, by the way, and it was absolutely delicious, naturally gluten and dairy free. No issues with my nervous system or anything, which sometimes I do have with spicy food. So yeah, brilliant bit of food. My wife had some Greek food, one of her favourites. We were sitting there and I had my camera sitting next to me just in case, or while you're sitting there having lunch and chatting, just in case there was a shot walking past. So here's the first shot. The chap on the right of this shot with the beard had noticed my camera, and they were sort of roasting people a little bit as they were walking around the street, trying to engage them, that sort of thing. So they did that with me and my camera. Oh, that's a nice big camera, blah, blah, blah. And I sort of picked it up and looked at it and went, it's not really, it's nothing special. I said, but can I get your picture? His friend came in from the left at the same time, and I took this shot. I was shooting all weekend at the two events at f8, auto ISO, and letting the camera decide the shutter speed. It was bright enough not to worry about the shutter speed. And then they said, let you get a picture of us together. And then I got this shot. And I think also with these two, the fact that I'm sitting down at the communal tables in the high street having my lunch and shooting up at them on their stilts, it makes this image, lovely blue sky. Now what I will say is the images from the big lunch, excluding the frame that I've put around them to sort of give that older sort of film-like effect that I remember from my childhood with the white frame around your pictures, around your prints. The images from the big lunch are practically straight out of camera. I've been playing with the settings in my Canon 40D, and if you go into each of the preset, they're called recipes now, excuse me, you can manipulate how they look and feel. You can reduce or increase the contrast, the saturation, the sharpness, and the tint. And what I've found is by tweaking those slightly and also experimenting, because the settings are the same, the way it's read in the Canon's own DPP software straight out of camera. It remembers everything you've taken in the camera because the camera and the software are the same brand. I've been playing around with that, and I think I've created something which I really like for my street images. And it's not too dissimilar from when I use the Portra 400 preset in Darktable, the raw processing software I use. So I looked at these images and I thought, do you know what? I've done a slight tweak to midtones just to brighten some of them a little bit dark, but nothing else except adding the frame then in Darktable later. During the big lunch, after we'd had our lunch and I'd got these shots of the chefs, I grabbed a coffee from a coffee van. Oh, that was absolutely delicious. Decaf oat latte, absolutely brilliant. I think the irony was he was parked outside Greggs. There's no comparison, sorry Greggs. Because I had a coffee in one hand, my camera in the other, I just set my lens to 18mm, 28mm equivalent, and as we were walking back down the high street, gonna see what else was going on, saw a few friends on the way, I was shooting at that wide angle to capture moments that were going on. And that for me is documentary. The Photographic Club have been approached this year by the local town council about providing some images we might take at events, or deliberately going out to create some content that they might be able to use with credits given to the photographers. And it's these sort of images, just documenting what's going on, which is important from my perspective. I don't know if they'll use them, and I'm not putting all of my images up, just giving them a few of each one, of each shoot. But it's documenting how the event was, and you need to document it with people in it, the streets, for me, the time Leighton Buzzard comes alive is when they have these events where they close the high street and people just pile in and have a great time. And it is a very relaxing atmosphere, very friendly environment, no issues with taking photographs. So yeah, that's what I was doing, shooting as I was, coffee in one hand, clicking as I was going at various stalls, getting people interacting with the vendors, that type of thing. Here are the images, and I'll see you in the next video.